Whether you have a diagnosis or not, I don't care. Jump inside this podcast and I'm going to teach you how to read your own blood work so you can find the answers to your health concerns. Yes, those normal labs that your doctor keeps saying, oh, they look great, we'll see you again in 6 months. They really have answers in them if you know how to read it correctly. So come join me along this journey, leave a review, and share with your friends. Let's dive in. What health coaching certification program do I recommend? I get this question asked all the time. Well, I've finally vetted them out, and the one program that outshines all others is Functional Diagnostic Nutrition, or FDN. There are 3 reasons why. 1, it's very clinically based and teaches labs. I myself turned down a master's degree in functional medicine because it didn't teach labs. 2, you have lifetime access and it always gets updated. This is important because things change and you need to be in the know. 3, when you complete the training on your timeline, they have an incredible post-grad community. So they don't just kick you out on the streets and say, good luck. If you've been thinking about receiving your health coaching certification or are a practitioner looking to branch out and scale a virtual practice, now is the time. Make 2023 your year. Do this for you, your family, and those you're about to help. Go to fdntraining.com/Dr. Kylie. Check the show notes for a $250 off code available for a limited time. I am happy to announce that I have partnered with Functional Diagnostic Nutrition because I love their program so much. They are now the podcast sponsor. All right, let's get into the podcast episode. Here we go. All right, ladies, our topic today on today's live call is weight loss. Going to get rid of the underlying barriers that are preventing weight loss, as well as the affirmations we need to tell ourselves for weight loss. Jen, take it over.
All right, you guys, welcome back. I'm going to invite any of you who are brave enough to turn your cameras on. I want to see your beautiful faces if you feel comfortable doing that, for those of you who are here live. Also, as we go along, just if you have any questions, be sure and put them in the, type them out. And Kylie will help me know when there's a message there, right? Or a question. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. For those of you who may be brand new to this part of Dr. Kylie's program, is I'm here to just help you release the underlying subconscious beliefs and programs that are just blocking and sabotaging your success. And it's an important part of the puzzle of healing. And I love that Dr. Kylie values the physical healing and the emotional and mental healing as well. So that's what I'm here to help you with today. Type in the message, what your number one, head talk or fear or just thought that just always comes back. Hi, Natalie. That always comes back to you about weight. Okay. Because I really want to understand where you guys are in your heads about weight so that I can really tune into what you guys need today. And then just a reminder, anything that we clear on the, even though you're listening, you may be listening to this as a recording, it's still working as if you were here live. And if you listen to it again, sometimes what I've had clients tell me is that different things clear. So energy is kind of cool that way. It kind of just takes care of you wherever you are in the moment. It doesn't have any time, or space constraints. So that being said, let's get started and let's get everybody's connections and energy systems balanced. So I'm going to just take a second, put your hand over your heart chakra, which is just basically on your breastbone, and just take some deep breaths. And just kind of do a body scan. You can close your eyes if you want to just notice where you may have any tension in your body, where you may be feeling stressed out, where your symptoms may be a little stronger today than normal. I just want you to pay attention to that and just breathe into that for a second. And we're just going to connect you to, I give my body permission to release any emotional stress. Actually, any emotional or physical stress. Take a big breath on that. Okay. All right. Just take another couple breaths. Your bodies just want a second to just be like still and breathe and get connected. And I'm just clearing some stagnant energy as we breathe here. Just releasing some energetic hooks, cords, and strings. There's some expectation energy that's releasing, some fear, worry, and doubt energy that's releasing. Okay, good. All right. As I was prepping for our call today, there were some pretty big things that came up. So first thing we want to do is release some shame, some guilt, resentment, and hopelessness energy. Okay, so I want you to just take a couple breaths, and the intention here is to, what I'm looking at is what is keeping your body attached to the weight. Okay. Shame is a big one that keeps us attached to things. It keeps us kind of in like negative relationships. It keeps us being people pleasers. It keeps us from saying no to the things we want to say no to. And it keeps us from saying yes to the things we want to say yes to. So take some deep breaths. And I just want you to kind of imagine your whole life like as a timeline in front of you. And we're just releasing all the pockets of shame that you have experienced from somebody else's words, from what you've put on your own self around your weight. Okay, that also there's judgment energy attached to that shame. So like if you grew up in an environment where weight was shamed, and then you gained weight or you lost weight, or it wasn't in alignment with your weight wasn't in alignment with the judgments that you heard come from the adults in your life. We want to release that, all of those times where you felt that shame, that guilt. Okay. Just take some deep breaths. There's a lot of underlying stuff clearing here. Also, a lot of resentment towards the judgments and attitudes towards weight, resentment towards food, resentment towards other people, resentment towards yourself. A lot of resentment energy clearing. So take some deep breaths on that. If it's feeling heavy, keep your hand on your heart with that intention of staying connected to your heart and letting everything process through. It's okay if you're feeling emotional. It's okay if you're not feeling emotional. It's okay if you're having memories surface. It's okay if you get teary. It's okay if you have a lot of emotions coming up and surfacing. Just observe them, let them surface. A lot of times what happens when we fight against our emotions, then they stay stuck and that stuffs them down. But eventually it just explodes. And sometimes the explosions come in the way of like overeating or over exercising or what's the word? Withholding food from ourselves. It can come out in lots of different ways. It can also come out in temper, depression. So just let whatever emotions around food, around weight, around shame, like whatever it is, just let it surface. And just we're moving up and out. I always remember what Shrek says, it's better out than in. Okay, so just let it come up and out. It's okay. Okay, good. You guys are doing good. I'm feeling lots of things shifting and moving. If you're feeling things shift and move, like feel free to type it in the comments. That kind of helps me kind of gauge where you're at. If you feel like there's something stuck, I also want you to write, message that as well. Okay. All right. Just looking at the comments really quick. When will I start seeing the weight loss? And weight loss is hard, and I've tried everything. Let's clear just some energy around that, around like attachment to weight loss. Okay, is you guys think about maybe you saw when you were in junior high, for example, like girls that like really wanted the boy's attention, and she would like follow the boy around and be flirty. And in junior high, boys are afraid of girls, right? So the more the girl wanted the attention and the, connection, what did the boy do? Came away from the girl. I love that experience because I was sometimes that girl, and I got it, I understand that, like, oh, the more I wanted something from someone, the quicker they moved away, at that age. But that happens in a lot of relationships. It's just an energetic pattern. And so it can happen with our bodies too. It's like the more we want it and want it and want it, and we're kind of obsessed with it, it's like our bodies kind of shut down to it. Okay, because it's like this energetic expectation. We're releasing some attachment energy to weight loss. Okay, that doesn't mean you're giving up. That doesn't mean you're giving up at all. It just means you're getting out of that like needy kind of energy. Like I need it to feel good about myself. I need it to be a good person. I need it so I don't feel like a hypocrite, or whatever thoughts in your mind are coming up around that. So take a big breath on that. And I'm just going to write down, just as a reminder, release attachment energy. Okay. And then we're connecting you to the energy of I am peaceful with myself in this moment. Oh, interesting. Okay. The next thing that wants to release and connect you to is I am peaceful with my past self. My past selves. We have so many different versions of us, right? So we can look back, and sometimes we look backwards and we're ashamed that we ate that dessert, ashamed that there was a time in our lives where we binged, or ashamed that we withheld food or over-exercised or judged or whatever it is. You can't change any of what happened from this moment backwards. Like you just can't change it. So in order to allow your body to move forward in your goals, your health goals of healing and releasing weight, you've got to be peaceful with your past selves. Okay. And know that your past selves did the best that they could with, where they were at in their healing process and in the healing process and the emotional state and beliefs, all of that stuff. Okay. Take a nice big breath. There's lots of movement there. How are you guys feeling? Okay. The next thing that wants to clear is just some trauma energy. So, trauma energy of judgment, trauma energy of any physical, emotional, mental, or sexual abuse. Okay, take some nice big breaths on that. And I think that I want to touch a little bit on the sexual abuse part, because it doesn't necessarily mean that you were full on sexually abused. Like I remember I was getting my bridals done in Provo, Utah. And I went in, it was a male photographer. I was in there by myself. And he was, wanting me to move my body in a certain angle. And he touched the sides of my breasts to do it. And nothing like that had ever happened to me before. And I totally froze. I didn't even know what happened until I left the studio, and I felt so sick to my stomach and angry. And then my brain was starting to process what happened. But it was, little things like that. And it's not little, but things like that can make an impact on our subconscious brain going, I've got to protect myself. If I look good, then someone's going to touch me inappropriately. I think that was kind of like, even though I was older when that happened, I was like 24. There was something about that messed up my head a little bit. And so allowing yourself to release any kind of trauma that's putting your body in a belief that it has to protect itself, and that weight is the way to do it, so that you're not attracting the wrong kind of attention, so to speak. And speaking of that, anything in like your cultural upbringing where your cultural or religious or whatever, where your body was, how do I say it, Kylie? Like it was not okay to be seen, that you had to keep yourself covered so that you didn't attract the wrong attention. Like somehow if you got the wrong attention, it was your fault. You know what I mean? So any of that kind of trauma as well, we're going to release that so that you can feel comfortable in your body. You can feel comfortable wearing the clothes that you want to wear. There's some generational energy around that program as well, but that programming as well. So take some deep breaths on that. Almost like it's your fault if something happens because of, the way you dressed or the way you portrayed yourself. Like that's crap. We're just releasing all of that. Take a big breath on that. Okay, good. All right. Then the next thing that wants to clear from your timelines is this moment of disbelief that happened where you had this experience where you quit believing in your body's ability to be healthy, to look good, to feel good, to release the weight. And sometimes that disbelief happens when we're young because we hear the older women in our lives say, oh, it stinks getting older because you just gain weight and there's nothing you can do about it. Or, oh, as I get older, when you get older, your body starts to break down. Like we start hearing that stuff from our grandparents when we're little, right? We want to release all of that programming. That does not have to be your programming. It does not have to be your story. So take a big breath, and I want you to look at your timeline again. And I just want you to see all the little moments of where you didn't believe in yourself and didn't believe in your body, all those little energy moments, just lifting and releasing, just getting rid of the disbelief energy. Big breaths on that.
Jen, I was at a family reunion this past week, so my husband's was the first half of the week. My family was the second half of the week. And there's a lot of us that are my age that are in the fertility stages of life. A lot of my cousins and their wives are. And I can't even tell you how many times I heard the word wait in a 3-day period.
Yeah.
Whether it was someone who was pregnant, which there were a lot of them, and then those of us who aren't pregnant, and like my one cousin who's, 5 years younger than me, she's like, I'm not pregnant, I'm just fat. Like, how many times do we hear that around us, and yet we don't even pay attention to it because it is so common?
Right. Well, and then fat having a bad connotation to it, right? So when I was a missionary in Spain, my trainer, she was a little chubby. She was super sweet, cute. And I don't know if you guys know anything about Spanish culture, but they say it how it is. And she told me that some lady off the street came up to her and said, are you pregnant or just a little fat? And it wasn't it wasn't a put down. It was just a question. And that's how they were there. And she was the woman who asked her was quite overweight herself. So they didn't see anything wrong with it. They were just curious,
Yeah.
And so we put this negative connotation on being, fat or too heavy or whatever it is. And so let's release. And then that's where a lot of the shame comes in because of that judgment of, what you should be, or what you shouldn't be.
I was in Japan right after, I was 22 years old, I think. I went to Japan for study abroad. And I remember I tried to get a little bit of exercise in during the day. And one of these moments where I was able to do a little bit of jogging around the marketplace. And I wouldn't just jog to run for 30 minutes. I would jog for 5 minutes and then I would get done and do some push-ups. And then I would run for a little bit and then do some crunch, do different things in between my runs. And I remember multiple times, every time I would stop to do my push-ups or whatever it was, I would hear stupid American. They linked that type of exercise, and they linked exercise as a good thing with Americans. Whereas Japanese culture, it's, I'm going to be thin and tiny. I don't want muscle on my body. So it's very much a cultural thing as well.
Yeah.
And I think in America, especially, it's always weight loss. And it's never good enough, ever.
Right. Let's just release the energy of that. And that was actually the next, that was a perfect segue into the next thing I had on my list to clear is energetic hooks, cords, and strings, from the media, from things that we heard, our mothers say, our grandmothers say, our aunts say.
The before and after pictures you see on Facebook as you're scrolling along.
Yes. The comparison that we do. When we compare ourselves to other people, we energetically hook into ourselves, right? It's like a negative energy we hook into ourselves, the comparison. So releasing all of those energetic hooks, cords, and strings that keep us stuck in the judgment and the comparison and the cultural expectations and all of that junk. You can feel how heavy it is. So just breathe on that. I'm going to release all that. Is it okay if we go over a few minutes? Okay. Because I still have a few things on my list where I want to make sure we get everything. Okay, so the next thing that wants to release is emotional toxins. Okay. And we're going in layers here. So, we release shame, guilt, resentment, hopelessness, trauma. Emotional toxins can be like not feeling worthy, taking on somebody else's judgments and expectations. That creates emotional toxins, which create emotional weight. Okay, so we're releasing, just keep breathing. We're releasing emotional toxins, emotional weight. Take a big breath on that. So like emotional weight, one example of it can be like codependent relationships where you feel like you're responsible for somebody else's reaction, someone else's feelings, someone else's experience. And you're taking on that emotional responsibility, which is just a huge weight. And this is so funny that this is coming up. I've been watching the series The Guardian lately. It's got a few little raunchy parts you have to fast forward through. But the main character is the most codependent person I've ever seen. At first I was like, he's so disconnected. But then as I'm watching him, I'm like, he does not take on a single person's emotional junk. If someone can be telling them like the biggest sob story and he'd be like, okay, and then walk away. Like does not take it on. I'm like, that's pretty cool.
That's a superpower.
I have never seen anything I've never seen that in real life. Right. But it's been a big eye opener to me, like how much we take on of other people's, our children's, our spouses, our parents, our siblings, our friends, our community, like whatever groups we're in, church, community. It's like we carry around this weight of trying to keep people happy. And it's just none of our business. And it creates this energetic sludge. And this came up when I was prepping for you guys, but as I was tuning into like, okay, what are all the pieces to this here? And I mean, it's the first time that I've ever like seen it, so to speak. But the emotional toxins, the emotional weight creates this energetic sludge. And so what it looks like energetically in the body, it's just slowing everything down. So you could be taking the best supplements. You could be doing everything that Dr. Kylie's telling you to do. You could be doing your exercise, but because you've got, all this other stuff going on, it's like energetically your body like can't move. So we want to release that. Okay. I would not bring it up if we couldn't get rid of it. So I want you to take some nice deep breaths, and we're going to release all of those emotional toxins, that emotional weight, and that energetic sludge off of your timeline. And then what that means is what your life experience has created of that. But then it feels like there's a lot of generational programming that's part of all of that as well. So I want you to take some nice deep breaths, and we're going to release the generational programming from your mom's side. So if you were adopted, I clear that from your bio mom and your adoptive mom, okay? Or any other mom figure that you had in your life where you picked up on that generational programming. Take some deep breaths. We're just going to release that. Okay, so now we're going to release it from your dad's side. And again, the same, your bio dad, if you are adopted, your adoptive dad, or any other father figure that you may have picked up on generational programming from. Take a nice deep breath. Let's release that. The emotional toxins, the emotional weight, that energetic sludge that has been slowing down your body. We're just completely giving it permission to let go and release. Okay, good. All right, so some additional affirmations that we're going to set and connect you to reprogram your brain and how your brain thinks about and processes the ideas of weight. Okay, I do want to acknowledge Stacy's comment. How do you remove the conditioning of association of food with celebrations and family events? That is so much of the generational programming, that cultural programming. And so there's a lot of guilt and shame associated, like when you don't eat or when you don't eat as much, or you pick and choose what you want to have. That's part of what has been releasing, that the hooks, cords, and strings, the shame and the guilt, the emotional toxins, okay, the emotional weight, like that's all part of that conditioning. So let's connect you to, I am free to choose what's best for my body. And then also, I am connected to my intuition. Okay, and just being intuitive. Let yourself be intuitive about what you put in your body. Okay. Okay, I love, honor, and respect my body. I give my body permission to heal. I give my body permission to be at and maintain my healthy, ideal size. I like to use the word size because there have been times where I weighed 125 pounds and was a size 6, and there was a time where I weighed 140 and was a size 6. And the 125, I was hardly eating anything and exercising myself to death. And, ran myself to the ground. I couldn't maintain it. The 140, I was eating, I was exercising, but not killing myself. And anyway, so just so you know, that focus more on, the size instead of the number. I love my body. I appreciate my body. Okay. This is an interesting one. The wording on it I thought was really interesting. I release my body to heal and repair and be healthy. Okay. You don't always have to be in a state of healing and repairing. That's not the goal, right? You're giving your body permission and releasing it to heal and repair. And the end goal is to be healthy. Take some deep breaths on that. Okay. I'm curious what you guys are thinking, feeling at this point. So put it in the comments if there's anything you want me to address. I have a few more affirmations coming up. I am connected to food. Okay, a lot of times when we're frustrated with our weight, there's like an energetic disconnect with food that happens. And so it's like, you've seen a kid like try to eat something that they don't like the texture of or they don't like the taste of, and they're putting it in their mouths, but they're gagging. Okay, that's kind of energetically what I see happening is like you're eating the food, but energetically you're gagging because there's this thought or belief that's like, this is going to make me fat, or this is going to keep me fat. I want to release all of that programming that food makes you fat. So take a big breath on that. Okay, and then food supports my healthy body. Food nourishes my body. My body processes and assimilates the nutrients easily and efficiently. My body releases what it no longer needs. Okay, so my intention here is we're clearing the underlying subconscious beliefs and programming that's telling your body that it needs to hold on to the weight. Okay, so now with this, now we're reprogramming the brain. My body releases what it no longer needs. Okay, everyone take a nice big breath on that. I trust my body. Okay, I work with my body. Okay, notice when you're fighting your body. Anytime you judge it, anytime you compare it, anytime you wish for something different, that's like fighting against your body. So work with your body. If those thoughts are coming up, talk to those thoughts like they're a little child. You know what? I know you feel like this in this moment. I know you feel frustrated, but guess what? Everything's getting better. Guess what? Your body's healing. It's okay. Everything is going to be okay. So work with your body that way. Okay, awesome. So one thing that I would highly recommend to really solidify all of this for you guys is take these affirmations and put them in question form. I've taught you that already, right? The affirmations. So, for example, I give my body permission to release any emotional or physical stress. Just put that in a question and say, why is it so easy for my body to release emotional and physical stress? Actually, don't use the word stress. Why is it so easy for my body to release emotionally and physically? Why is it so easy to be peaceful with myself in this moment? Why am I so grateful to be peaceful with my past selves? Why is it so easy to feel free to choose what's best for my body? Okay, so
you make it sound so simple.
Well, it's such a personal experience for everybody. Like when you really get into when you get into the journaling of it yourself, you'll get into that, like, oh, this feels good, you know, like even if you don't believe me right now, that just seems hard, or that doesn't, I don't, it's hard to believe that, or whatever. It's okay if your conscious brain hasn't caught up with what we've cleared yet. It's okay. But the affirmations are going to help accelerate that. Because what you want, if you can, the more peaceful you can feel about yourself, the quicker things are going to happen and shift and move. Okay. So, all right, everyone take one last breath. Let's just connect you to everything that we've released, connect you to allowing, accepting, and receiving all the work that we did today. And most of all, allowing, accepting, and receiving, like trusting in your body.
All right. We will be back here, same time, same place. The health coaching certification program that I recommend is Functional Diagnostic Nutrition, or FDN. You can get started anytime. So grab the $250 off code from the show notes and go to fdntraining.com/Dr. Kylie and get started. Don't wait any longer. Make 2023 your year. Do this for you, your family, and for those you're about to help. fdntraining.com/Dr. Kylie. Ready to have all of your blood work compiled in one location where you can easily read it all together? Well, go grab my book, Why Are My Labs Normal, on Amazon. Grab it, learn how to read your own labs, and take the power back in your hands, because your normal blood work is loaded with answers. You just got to have the right person reading it, and the right person can be you. Go grab it on Amazon, Why Are My Labs Normal by Dr. Kylie Burton. Leave a review, and we'll see you on the next episode.